There we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. My apologies for the 5 minutes delay. Had some technical issues, and I'm hoping that the power doesn't go out now. So I was actually more waiting on that because we all know how this goes on load shedding. So today I've changed the camera angle a little bit. I've got the other one as well. Don't worry, it is there in the background. Let's quickly, oops, wrong button, my apologies. Just to show you, it is pretty big, but I want to focus on, I'm seeing that the image is sometimes small, so I'm not sure, but I'll work on that, I'm sure. Any case, so today is our solar power kit. So I've done a lot of these solar power camera kits, stuff, videos. So I'm bringing you more detail because I feel in our industry at the moment, in our country, this is a high demand. I feel there's a lot more that we can do with the technology. There's a lot more that we can do with the elements that on our table that we can use. So yeah, I'm sorry if some of you are like, oh, solar again, I'm sorry, but here we go. This is not the same as what you are used to, but the introduction will be, because remember, there's some people that are new. For some of you that don't know, we do this every week. I'll take a specific product, and then I highlight that little product for you and go into technical. But if you wanted more information, please visit our e-learning platform. Under our e-learning, it's elearning.hikvision.com. So under that platform itself, it's an educational platform. It's our e-learning platform where we learn and teach people and etc. So there's general courses, there are certified courses. So for me, these videos are just there to help you with some info. And I normally try and keep them short, so I'm going to zip it now and then move forward. All right. For some of the guys that are on the live stream every Friday, and some of you that are watching it on YouTube. So it's on. All right, moving on. Let's get started. All right, so we're going to get familiar with why a solar power kit. I'm joking. And then where can we use it? And we're going to go through it. So don't worry. Okay, so why? So a lot of you are familiar, and where's that funky laser of mine? Let's go with the laser. So as you all know, a lot of these solar panel setups are quite expensive. So we're talking about brackets. Then we talk about you have to saw sometimes. Some guys are lucky, they get their brackets and the panels at one place. And then sometimes you have to find batteries at a different place, whether it's acid or gel or lithium ion, whatever the case might be. And then you need a solar regulator. A solar charger regulator controls the amount of sunlight that goes in, which basically goes onto this regulator, and the regulator will charge the battery. And then from there, you'll have an output that you can use normal voltage that you can provide power to what you need. Normally it's between 12 to 24, depends on the setup. But anyway, and then also you need a box to safeguard the battery, to keep it in a proper environment. If it looks like I'm looking at the sky, it means that I've got a monitor in front of me. So I normally look just above the camera. So my apologies. So, and then we have the cabling. So a lot of you might be familiar. I know that's a DC plug, I'm sorry. But I know a lot of you are familiar with the solar power cables. You get different silicon ones and etc. etc. So anyhow, to get all that equipment is kind of like difficult and pricey and everything. So now you have a kit. So very soon in next quarter, I will showcase my own little project where I'm taking what we have and what can I buy. And when I mean buy, I mean the cheapest nonsense that I can get at some sort of places. And we all know where they are. The cheapest stuff. So I'm going to try and see if I can compare price versus price, so I can show you guys the differences in that. But anyway, so moving on from there, it's very flexible. It's easy to install because everything is in one box. yeah, it's just easy to install. I don't think I need to say anything more about that. It's weatherproof, it's designed for outdoors, it's just wonderful. So this solar power kit is very similar to the normal solar power cameras that you guys are familiar with, that we've done a few times, and I'll highlight that again a little bit. It's got an 80-watt panel. It can handle winds and snow and all sorts of nonsense because it's compact and it's easy. The batteries itself, there are different models and different options, but for now we're just highlighting one model here at the moment. So as you can see, the watt hour is 360. So temperatures, I think lately it's been cold in Johannesburg. I know KZN area, especially in the Drakensberg or northern KZN, it's snowing and it's chilly and etc. So yeah, it will work there. But anyway, moving on, you have a dual fly lead itself that you can use. There's also a RS 485 connection that's on there. This will help you, and I'll show you a little bit later because there's data information that goes through there, but 2 fly leads so you can power up maybe a camera and something else, and we'll get into that. All right, so where can we use those kits? Let's see where we can use those kits. Is it stuck now? Oh, there we go. All right, so where can we use this? Always a lot of places. There's schools, there's complexes, there's roadways, there is a lot where you can use this. And it doesn't have to be CCTV. Remember, it's giving you 12 volts so you can provide whatever you would like. I know that you guys are familiar with, as an example, where we have it in our Heat Pro camera, so for thermal. So you have those images itself that we can use to, showcase this is the way it will look, and there's no video on that. So normal daytime or nighttime for the security purposes. So it's thermal, it's a very focal, we get bispectrum and etc. So it's not just for security use. We could also use it maybe to monitor certain equipment for safety. We can also use it for fire prevention. So to try and make sure that if there's something, the cameras will alert. I'm not saying that it's 100% when it comes to certain environments, but it's got some sort of percentage where it at least gives you a warning, another indication. So, helping you in your environment. Then we can also go towards maybe a proper 180 field of view where we use the color view cameras, where we can maybe put up a color view camera with a wireless bridge to communicate. So you have a perfect area that you can view. So especially parking lots or maybe further away parking lots. So I know when the guys are playing cricket or rugby matches and they go to the stadiums, they sometimes park in the field and it's far away and there's no security in those areas. So as a security company, you know that there's going to be issues. Just for the day, you can put it up and provide a service, create additional. Maybe there's a show or event or whatever the case might be. Just thinking outside the box, using it as maybe a rental option for your company. So maybe your company buys like 3 or 4 of them, and you can set them up and link them up and give your client a better service compared to anyone else. Just adding to that. Then obviously Lifeguard with AccuSense. This is obviously normal. This is under our 3 series models of cameras with a built-in flashing light, with a built-in strobe, with that audio itself. So 2-way communication with your Heat Connect app. And then obviously the wireless bridge that can communicate, because let's face it, some areas, especially in farming areas that I'm used to, don't have always proper, network reception. But maybe you have line of sight towards the farmhouse, and the farmhouse is connected to an internet base that's connected to the mountain. So, stuff like that makes life easy. All right. Moving on, if maybe you have some sort of, this is now very popular as well. I see this quite often, especially in Sandton area where I'm in. I can see a lot of the residential area. Yes, it's a bit more pricier, but it's nice, especially in neighborhood areas. You can warn the people to say, hey, slow down, this is a school district or this is a residential area. You with that Ferrari or you with that Porsche, please slow down. There are actual people living here, that kind of thing. And we see that quite often in our area. But anyway, mining areas, for safety, for different big mine areas, they've got very big, strict rules and regulations. So you can have, gotta love it though. Every single session, every single time this happens to me. My apologies, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Let's just get this back to where it's supposed to be. There. And then let's quickly do this one. Okay. Now it's not going to allow me to do what I need to do. So close that one. Wait a few seconds. Come on. All right. Looks like we're there. Boom. Okay. Right. So moving on. So for mining areas, as I mentioned before, we got interrupted by Uncle Cyril with the load shedding. That's just, I think most of us just gave up already. I don't know. I think we need to find harder maybe, but anyway, moving on. So off the grid, giving that warning, telling the truck drivers to slow down or whatever the case is, school districts, complex areas. So you can do a lot with it. All right, moving on from there, ANPR, and you'll see we've got a little bit of a street light, little lamp there. So which is nice for parking areas, maybe to monitor registrations, maybe it's a fuel station and you want to look at the vehicles coming in towards the fuel station and you've got maybe one entrance and one exit, but you don't want to, how can I say, to put too many ANPRs. You can really actually only afford one. This gives you that opportunity to do that where, and I'm trying to see, is my mouse showing that it's buffering? It is buffering. Yes. That you can basically use the ANPR for that section where there's no power, have the nanostation shooting back towards the building. Perfect. There's so many other places, shopping centers where parking areas, like I mentioned earlier, so big, but you want to look at the number plates. So very nice idea behind that. And now I've lost the actual mouse. No, there we go. Move to the next slide, please. Just very pretty, please. All right. And then we're also PTZs. So we've got a 5-inch PTZ model available for this as well. We have separate kits, and then we obviously have these type of where we can actually integrate with one another. So giving you a 25 optical zoom, highlighting, specific areas. Again, easy. I don't have to say too much more about that. Let's go to the next one. I think we've covered this whole subject of where and what we can do with it. So using it, like I said, my recommendation would be especially farming areas. My second one would be, harsh environments where, you can't get to that area or it's too far away, or maybe it's just a bad environment. You've got a solution for that. Or maybe for, normal residential or, how can I say, communities, areas where there's no power, but at least you have some sort of security surveillance. All right. So moving on towards the kits, just to show you, it's got that DC 12-volt output itself for you. And like I mentioned earlier, you got that small little plug as well at the bottom, and we'll get into that for the RS communication. So just to let you know, you have that capability. It only has 2 fly links. So we recommend only 2. So camera and a wireless bridge, or, a camera and, I don't know, something else. You can even get the cameras for the solar cameras, and you can add that up and then put a nanostation. So dropping your wattage even more. You can even, as an example, if you have an existing system like this one over here, you can add another kit and provide additional power. So one side, your power will go towards the solar camera, and then plug it into the solar camera itself, not the battery box. And the second one will be the RS485 communication that you'll plug into the back of the battery box. That helps us now to understand that what is the voltage of the solar camera security setup, and what is the voltage on the battery for the solar power kit. And then combining the two together, giving you longer lasting environment. So that's off the grid, etc. Then we have another option where we've got the special plug that we've developed that we can tap off any AC connection, obviously 220, 230, tapping off that 220 voltage, AC, obviously, and convert it into what it needs to be in order to charge up the battery on that solar power. So during the daytime, we're using solar power. At nighttime, we can use the street light. Yes, I know one person out there is going to tell me, but even we don't have power on the street lights at nighttime. It's called South Africa. It's called load shedding. It's called suffering on stage 6. You know, life is life. Anyway, so this will provide power for your PTZ or your camera and obviously your wireless bridge, but still, you know, having that solution and having that multiple different backups, giving you more extended time for your communication, for your cameras to work, etc. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. All right, and then just to highlight this data sheet regarding that, like I mentioned, there are different options, different models. You get the K01 and the K02. It's both 80-watt panels, but there's some more specifications that we can add with it. The rest is all general. The batteries are also general. Like I said, they are a little bit, the batteries are actually a little bit different compared to the normal solar ones, and I'll get into that in a second. So just for those that wanted to pause there. Moving on, like I mentioned, existing cameras. All you do is take this kit, mount it to the pole, connect up for power for your network, your power in your network. So what it basically means is your 12 volt will go towards that wireless bridge, and then the other 12 volt will go towards the camera. Then you can take your network cable into the secure box that's there. There's a box at the back to protect your cable and connection towards your wireless bridge itself. That will communicate to wherever you need to. So it's a simple design, simple solution, simple option. You can have, as you can see in this picture, this is real life. And then also we can, like I said, piggyback, where we can have one charging the existing system, one charging another system. And you'll see in the bracket at the bottom of these, can I zoom in? Let's zoom into those little brackets. Can I? Yeah. So you'll see the bracket at the bottom, we can basically go and add in a solar camera. So even though it's a solar power kit, we can take just the camera itself and connect that up as well. So in the event that you want to do a system where you buy 2 kits, but you want to add your own camera and then add your own wireless bridge. And yes, I think I've shown before that Hikvision has wireless bridges. Moving on from there, just to showcase how that battery looks like, let's quickly look at the video. So that's the battery itself, how the battery pack goes in. So it's 4 of them, gets plugged in, sealed, and then clipped on. Perfect environment, as you can see. And then next up is to show you also that we can lock it. You know, you can actually secure that environment and lock it. You know, yes, I'm going to hear this until the end of the year. This is South Africa. It will get stolen. We know. That's why you need to have one camera look after another one, looking after another one. There are other protocols. There are other security measurements. So as I mentioned earlier, you can have 2 of these on a pole. So one for your security environment and maybe one looking down towards the pole area, maybe AccuSense or thermal, the Heat Pro, to be able to protect that environment. So it all depends on where your environment is and what you are doing. And even if you put it up 8 meters, people think that they're not going to get there and it's just a pole. Trust me, they're going to get there. If you wanted to put some grease on the pole, whatever the case is, it only lasts for a little bit. Some people put fencing or pop wire around it. I don't know. Best, my experience is put up a camera, especially a live card camera, then have it linked to your control room, and your control room can start yelling at them and maybe tell them some jokes about your mama is so big. I'm joking. All right, moving on from there. Just to give you a little bit of a graph of the wattage as an example, normal solar power cameras, as I mentioned in the past and all the other videos, 2 watts. So for anybody that does solar installations or security solar measurements of installations and setups, wattage is our enemy. I'm sure some of you might know that. So the higher the wattage on the item is, whether it's a switch, whether it's a regulator or camera or wireless bridge, whatever the case is, yeah, it's a nightmare. So cameras, 2 watts, our cameras, solar cameras. Normal cameras are a little bit higher. So just look at your data sheet according to your model. Wireless bridge, 4.5 watts. So that's quite heavy, but it's still better than what some cameras. So 12 volt, again, making it easy. All right. Moving on from there, that's what I mentioned earlier. The batteries are different compared to the solar power kits, compared to the advanced models that you can buy. So just to go back, just to show that that was the previous generation. The newer generation has battery packs that slide in. There are different options, different setups that you can do. So moving forward from there, like I said, either the 2 or the 4. So if it's the 2 model, it will look like that. If it's the 4 model, it will be the previous one, like I mentioned earlier. Just to show you that if you wanted to make sure about those models, it will be the 6A 7 series and the 2T. That's the Heat Pro model, the thermal model itself. Okay. Then, lastly, just a sneak peek. Again, I always do this, and I'm going to get in trouble. So a lot of you might be familiar with our, where's my laser? Be familiar with our advanced series camera itself, solar, backup battery in the back, advanced with AccuSense and color view. Perfect, nice for that environment. Then we have the thermal one, that is the Heat Pro camera that's smacked on that. It's the normal 256, the new models. A lot of people have used it, so it's quite popular. Then we got the standard model, which has the color view with the solar power and the PIR built into it, and the battery is built into the camera, not at the back of the solar panel. And I actually got one here that I want to show you guys. And then the normal solar basic model with the PIR and camera. I've gone through this a few times. The PIR and motion works together. So it's PIR and the motion 2.0, and they work together as a measurement, almost very similar like AccuSense, but a little bit lower down the scale. Coming up is obviously the Varifocal. I've mentioned this before. It will be in South Africa shortly. The PT model, very small, convenient, easy. The new upgraded version with the small, basic solar power, flexible installation with built-in radar and PIR. Wow, awesome. And then obviously the ANPR model as well. So for number plate recognition itself, that's there. And then we've got the kit like I showed, and then obviously the batteries that you can order. So just to give you an idea how that would look like, that's the setup itself. So depends on what the normal setups is. Ours is obviously the next generation coming soon as well, upcoming, as you can see, is where we're going to have storage built into this itself. These storages itself is the chipset that's in it. Just trying to find it. Yeah, it is, and it's not on my notes. Why is it not on my notes? It's like a SSD. Where was it? Yeah, it's like a SSD. But anyway, so built-in memory itself onto the devices. This is coming in the future. So keep your eye on that. It's the 256 gigabytes and the 1 terabyte, but I don't know where I put it, where it indicated to me what type it is. Oh, there we go. So it will be a eMMC SSD. So it's very small, very compact. It's very popular, very reliable. I think most guys are using it nowadays on their computers, their laptops, and memory sticks. Some of you might have seen that we started using it on our the eDVR, so very similar as well. So stay tuned for that. Okay, next up is, oh, thank you. All right, So let me show you guys before I kill the video stream, and then we'll have the Q&A after that. Let me show you how that would look like. Let's stop the share, and then we only see me. My wife likes it though. So at least somebody likes to look at me. Okay. I've got this one here. So like I said, the solar camera itself, the basic one, I'm not going to take it out of the box. I think I've done enough with these ones already. Then I've got this one. Excuse me, I'm going to unwrap it because the storeroom manager just gave it to me like this. So here we go. All right. Okay. You're getting there. So don't worry. It's just I don't need a knife or anything. So I've got the guns. So anyway, it's just bubble wrap. I was just joking. So your normal solar power itself, yes, this is not that heavy, but it weighs a bit. Okay, wait, the camera is not showing it nicely. So solar power panel at the top. And then we've got the bracket at the back itself. So normal strong bracket, different ways that you can mount it. You can also wall mount it, pole mount it, everything gets inside the box and the camera is not looking at me. Look at me, camera. Camera, look at me. I'm going to have to lift it. Oh, I'm lifting it. Oh, this is like a gym session on its own. Eh? And at the back, you can slide in the box for the batteries and everything. What else can I show you guys? That's cool on it. So you've got the little cable connections for the normal solar power. Yeah, I'm not showing it nicely enough. So normal connections. There we go. So positive and negative. And then you have the camera that's on the bracket. Try and lift this up this way. Okay. So you got the bracket. Okay, this one is tight up now. And then at the bottom, I don't know if you guys can see, you got a space there for SD card, the SIM card, and then obviously the reset button, and then there's a cover that goes over that. Then you also have the tail. The tail is the fly little leads. Whoa, sure, that's dangerous. Okay, so HR is going to get a fit. Anyway, so normal connection. Why is this not right? Okay. Normal RJ45, you got your connection for RS itself, your power plug, and you can see cables is quite lengthy, so which means you can go up into the pole. Okay, camera, follow me, camera. Camera, follow me. So I still need to fine tune this camera. I'll get to it. Hello? Hello? Guys, it's not working, but anyway. So I just wanted to show you, maybe if I stand this way, there we go. That cable can go all the way up. All right, that's it from me, I think. Let me put this down. I'm breaking it. Stay. All right, okay, there we go. Oh, the camera's quite high up, so let me change the angle there. What did I do with my mouse? There we go. Okay. All right. From me, come on, camera, work. There we go. That's it for me. I hope it's entertaining. I try my very best to bring this to you guys. So if you're on the YouTube channel, see you guys next week. I don't know who's presenting. Might not be me. Might be me. I don't know. My diary is fully booked, so please join the e-learning. Please have a look on the system. We are going to Cape Town. Me, actually. Well, me. I'm going to Cape Town. I'm going to Durban. I'm going to PE. Going to Bloemfontein, and I'm going to. There was another one. Can't remember. Some other city area. So I'm going to be traveling, and then yeah. So see you guys next week. For the rest of you, stay tuned for the Q&A. See you guys after this.